Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of the Daily Strange Stories. I'm John Brown. Our lead story for today. Mother of 5 dies after being pushed out of moving taxi. The community of Eastridge in Mitchell's Plain, in Cape Town, is in mourning following the tragic death of Analize Adams, a 45-year-old mother of 5. The circumstances surrounding her death are shrouded in mystery and have left her family desperately seeking answers. The incident, which occurred on the 25th of April 2025, has raised concerns about passenger safety in public transport and the accountability of those responsible. Analize Adams was traveling in a taxi in Tafelsig, a neighborhood in Mitchell's Plain, on that fateful day. According to reports, she was allegedly pushed out of the moving taxi near the Shoprite Town Centre in Mitchell's Plain. The details surrounding the incident remain unclear, but the consequences were devastating. Her niece, Melissa Adams, has been vocal in her pursuit of justice for her aunt. She has highlighted the presence of CCTV cameras outside the Shoprite supermarket and has questioned how the footage can be obtained to shed light on what truly transpired. The family believes that the CCTV footage holds the key to uncovering the truth and bringing those responsible to account. The days following the incident were filled with anguish and uncertainty for the Adams family. Analize was admitted to Eastridge Hospital, where she remained in a coma for 5 days. Her 5 children, aged between 9 and 21, were able to visit her, but were unable to communicate with their mother due to her comatose state. The family clung to hope, praying for a miracle that would never come. On the 29th of April 2025, Analize Adams passed away in hospital. The family was informed of her passing by a family friend, as they allegedly received no direct communication from the doctors at Eastridge Hospital. This lack of communication has further compounded their grief and fueled their suspicions about the circumstances surrounding her death. Adding to the family's distress, Analize Adams' death certificate stated that her cause of death was due to natural causes. The family disputes this claim, asserting that her death was a direct result of the injuries she sustained after being pushed out of the moving taxi and subsequently falling into a coma. Melissa Adams has expressed the family's frustration with the hospital's handling of the situation. She said that they questioned why the cause of death was listed as natural causes, and that the hospital allegedly declined to conduct an autopsy despite initially indicating that they would do so. The family waited for 3 weeks, but the cause of death remained unchanged, attributed to bleeding from her head. The family's experience highlights a broader issue within the South African healthcare system: the lack of clear communication and transparency between medical professionals and the families of patients. This breakdown in communication can lead to mistrust and suspicion, particularly in cases where the cause of death is disputed. Spot on Crime and Emergency, an organization that assists families in times of crisis, has stepped in to help the Adams family with funeral arrangements. However, Melissa Adams has described the situation as being confused, as they have been going back and forth between the hospital and waiting for a case to be opened. The police spokesperson, Analize Adams, has confirmed that an inquest docket has been registered at Woodstock Police Station for further investigation. An inquest is a legal inquiry to determine the circumstances surrounding a death, particularly when the cause is unclear or suspicious. Analize Adams' funeral is scheduled to be held on the 20th of May 2025. However, the family remains in limbo, awaiting answers from the police investigation and the autopsy results. Their quest for justice is far from over. The tragic death of Analize Adams has brought into sharp focus the issue of taxi safety in South Africa. Taxis are a vital mode of transport for millions of South Africans, particularly those who live in areas with limited access to public transport. However, the taxi industry has long been plagued by issues of overcrowding, reckless driving, and a lack of regulation. Incidents of passengers being assaulted, robbed, or even killed in taxis are not uncommon. These incidents often go unreported, leaving victims and their families without recourse. The lack of accountability within the taxi industry has created a culture of impunity, where drivers and owners are rarely held responsible for their actions. The South African government has made efforts to regulate the taxi industry, but these efforts have been met with resistance from taxi operators, who often operate outside the bounds of the law. The taxi industry is a powerful force in South Africa, with close ties to political parties and organized crime. The death of Analize Adams serves as a reminder of the urgent need for greater regulation and oversight of the taxi industry. Passengers must be able to travel safely and without fear of violence or exploitation. The government must take decisive action to crack down on rogue taxi operators and ensure that those who break the law are brought to justice. Beyond the issue of taxi safety, the death of Analize Adams also highlights the broader issue of violence against women in South Africa. South Africa has one of the highest rates of femicide in the world, with women often being targeted for violence by men they know. The death of Analize Adams is a tragedy that should never have happened. Her family deserves answers, and those responsible for her death must be held accountable. The South African government must take urgent action to address the issues of taxi safety and violence against women, to prevent similar tragedies from occurring in the future. The memory of Analize Adams must serve as a catalyst for change, to create a safer and more just society for all South Africans. Thank you for watching this news video. We'd love to hear what you think about this story, so please leave your comments below. We read them all and appreciate your insights. Join us again in our next strange story. Until then, goodbye.